Hello, Janesville, and welcome to Behind the Curtain, where we spotlight some of the exciting things that are happening at Janesville Performing Arts Center. And today we have a fantastic crew here that I personally have been working with. We got Jim McCulloch, who's with Education and Outreach for the Performing Arts Center. And we also have Tess Nguyen, who is with the Janesville Area Stories. Quite the nice running local history and sharing of personal stories within the community. And then we have Michelle Dennis, who's helping us with directing, and she's here at the lovely Hedberg Public Library. And we're going to talk to you about the Tales of Our Farms. It's a series. Tales of is a series that we've been working on for now 3 years. And so we've gone through different iterations. So if maybe, Tess, if you could tell us a little bit of the history of the Tales of, and where it started, and the other programs we've done.
It all started basically with Nate Burkhart at JPAC, because he reached out to the Historical Society, to Mike Ryder when I was working there, and said, what if we brought some local stories to life on the stage? And Mike said, you need to talk to Tess. And then Nate and I partnered up, and you came on board, and Michelle came on board to direct. You came on board, and we all just made a great production team. So then our second year,
that was about Tales of the Marshall Middle School, which became the high school, which became the middle school, which became JPAC, and Marshall Apartments.
Yeah. And then second year we did Downtown.
Tales of Downtown.
Tales of Downtown.
Which was very successful. And that worked into the Arise program well.
Very well, and we walked through the history, through the decades, which we did also with Marshall Middle School. However, this one's a little bit different.
Yeah, and Michelle Dennis here has done some wonderful work with our lovely actors. And so how many people do we have on this particular production?
We'll have 4 readers who are five readers, adult actors. Several of whom did the productions the prior 2 years. And then are there 3 minors, 3 kids who
Students,
are actually are growing up on farms.
Yeah, there are 4-H kids.
Yep.
So 4-H kids involved too. So
Yep. So the idea is that we shine a light on the history of our community, specifically through farming, and how farming helped create community, and community creates farming. It's a beautiful relationship and cycle, you bet. Rather than going decade by decade or trying to do a linear process, we're talking in this show about topics. So we have the topic of early days, beef, dairy, grains, the technology and how that is transformed over time. What else? Are those are the main topics?
There's a little of everything, but of course we can't possibly cover everything in agriculture. But the show is kind of a fun documentary, if that's not an oxymoron.
It's fun. It's really fun.
It is fun because there's a bit of acting. We have that. We have readers theater. We have lots of video footage.
There's music, there's live music elements, there's
there's original music, there's a bit of dancing, which you'll have to come see. There's romance, it's educational, it's entertaining, we have some comedy. And so let's talk about the videos and what's...
Well, we've started recording a year ago. So we got the ground what was frozen, and then we started doing some interviews in that process. Of course, as soon as spring, as soon as the ground thawed, then we rode on a planter and experienced that, and then we just basically would go back and kind of film the different seasons so that we can kind of show from the general area of how the crops have evolved all the way down to the harvesting and actually bringing it to a grain elevator. There's I don't know how many hours of footage that we have, but I mean, beyond this project, we could actually use it towards some other history programming in the future. And I think with JATV, it would be really nice to, as the seasons go, kind of every once in a while, just kind of throw up a video on the channel that kind of shows where we are in the season of things.
Oh, that would be fun.
Okay, now I know that with the production, there's a lot of original material that's being produced, and for one thing, there's a lot of musical talent. Tess, could you talk about the performers and the music and the songwriting that you've
So
done?
we won't have actual performances at the show, but we will have recorded songs, all agricultural related songs, which were really fun to write. And then every year I try to bring in different musicians to help on those. And it's really fun to do that because the collaborative effort really always ends up surprising me. But also it's great for the community because they have their own followings and it brings in people that might not otherwise be at JPAC. So we have for recording vocals this year, we've got Steve Weber and John Nelson and Brianna Johnson, who sang with Dave Bitter and I at Docs Who Rock this past year, along with Tim Brockway. And so that was really fun to do. And in meeting her, I realized she had a great little country voice that was perfect for some of these songs. And then we have on keys, got Yuri Rashkin and Alan Luckett on bass. Thank you, Alan. That sounded so good. It just adds the anchor to the songs. And my husband, Young Nguyen, on drums, and I play guitar. So they're being mixed as we speak.
Keeping it local.
Keeping it all local. That's right.
And Jim, you know, you were involved in 4-H as a kid, so
I was
there's
involved in 4-H, and I think Michelle was involved in 4-H. Were you
Yeah.
involved in 4-H?
I
My
was
kids
not,
too.
but my dad was a farm implement dealer in
okay.
rural Iowa, so this show is really
Right.
near and dear to my heart. And it was actually you who kind of were pushing, you were like, hey, what if we did 4-H? And then we kind of expanded it.
So we put it into just the rich history of not only the county but the region, but we wanted to stick more local as we could. There's lots of things that were happening, so yeah, we decided we wanted to reach back and just show the rich heritage that we've got here in Rock County for farming. The video footage is awesome. We've got the original music, the live
Now, we're not
elements. So it's
showing
got
hundreds
lots
of hours of video footage, right? We have 9 clips.
You know, even though we're kind of like PBS, we don't have the funding like PBS.
So the show's about an hour and a half long. So we've taken
Or 2
all of
hours.
these elements, or 2 hours with an intermission. We've taken all of this down and kind of whittled it down to most important pieces. And sometimes that's a hard decision to make as to what do you cover and what do you not cover. What makes the editing room floor, so to speak. But I think we tried to hit the highlights of what this topic really covers in the county, and I think we've done a really good job with it.
And it's an event.
And it's an event. We've got an event that goes along with this. So as all 3 nights, so the performances are on the 24th, 25th, and 26th of January of 2020. They're all at JPAC. And to go along with the events, we also, here we have our poster. So we go along with the events, we've got an outreach program that's going along with that. So every night there will be local artists, local vendors that'll be coming in to display their wares. We've got people that are going to be displaying some of their photography, some of their different medias of art. I think there was a woodcutter that is still planning on coming in. So there's some different things like that, as well as the Rock County Dairy Council will be passing out cheese and milk samples.
And didn't I hear something about a good old-fashioned 4-H bake sale?
And a good old-fashioned 4-H bake
That's
sale.
awesome.
What is better than that? So
That's awesome.
had we been thinking a little farther out on this, I think it would have been a fantastic thing to have a good old-fashioned potluck. That would have been kind of the epitome of farming and farm
Right.
communities. So,
And community.
And community, exactly. And that's kind of what this is about. So we've got lots of different vendors that'll be coming in. They'll be selling some of their things there. Some people will just be displaying what they have, passing out some free samples. And then, of course, the 4-H bake sale, which all of the profits for this offshoot of the event is, we take nothing from it. We want to really basically help the local groups, the local 4-H clubs, the local artists kind of just display what they're doing and promote their wares and not take really a profit on it.
Right.
As you all know, farming right now is in a pretty down
That's
cycle.
That's so
So we
true.
wanna make
When
sure
we
can help
were,
people.
that's true. Thanks, Jim. When we were out doing our interviews, we knew there were issues with farming this year, but we quickly realized we were in the midst of a serious agricultural crisis this year. And so we acknowledged that. Farm bankruptcies were up 12% in the Midwest from July of 2018 to June of 2019. So it's been really hard, and the smaller farms are especially hard hit. so they're having to sell their crops for less than what it costs to produce the crop. And so why would we do this show on agriculture? Well, because farmers matter, because agriculture matters. And it's a part of our food chain, and we have to preserve that. We also want to show our appreciation for Rock County farming. And so we're doing the best we can. And we are throwing in a little comedy too, aren't we?
Well, you got to keep it a little bit light. So we have some of the readers are just natural comedians. We'll throw in their own brand of humor. And then we have a couple of skits that are hilarious. Imagine the old sepia tone with silent movie of the beautiful farm wife and the young field hand and the farmer with his pitchfork, "Come back here." Well, we remade one of those in various places around Rock County. The filming was hilarious and a blast. And so we're hoping that the final edit that we will share with everyone during our show will be as entertaining as entertaining to the viewers as it was to us as we made it.
Yeah.
It's not a word of hope. It will be.
It will be. So, and Michelle directed that, we should say. And
Tess wrote it.
Yes, and Michelle is directing the play, or the actual production as well.
Yes.
And Alan, remember that day running around?
Absolutely. No, I mean, and Tess has been there for a lot of the video footage as well, in assisting and also doing editing. So this has been quite the educational
Whatever
piece.
looks bad up there on the screen,
No,
I probably did that.
she's doing the rough cuts. I'll help her with some finesse there.
But we
He's
should point
teaching
out
me.
that this whole project and this whole process for the last 3 years that we've been doing this has been a collaboration between some of the larger groups here in town. So it's a combination of the Hedberg Library, JATV, Janesville Performing Arts Center, and the Rock County Historical Society have been the driving forces behind these Tales of series.
The Historical Society, we have to thank Kristen Arnold and Archives for some historical photos. They're really awesome.
Right, so we did that, as well as we have a sponsor this year. So we have the Shrine Group, which is local, and they've been around for many, many years. They have graciously donated a monetary value for us to be able to put this on.
What does the Shrine Group do?
The Shrine Group, basically, they do farm implements, so they do different kinds of farm
dairy
implements for dairy
production.
production and things like that.
Cleaning supplies for dairy.
Right,
Big-
exactly.
big
Wonderful.
construction.
Exactly. So we are very thankful for the Shrine Group for coming out and sponsoring this, as well as all of our partners with this whole project.
Hendricks family.
And the Hendricks Family Foundation, which is a part of our series, part of our Hendricks Family Foundation series, they generously donated not only to this project, but we have several other projects that we do throughout the year that go into this series. This Tales of Our Farms this year falls into a couple of different categories for JPAC. So it falls into our Local Talent Month, which we'll be talking about in a few minutes, as well it falls into our family series, as well as just it stands alone on its own project. So it's
quite unique.
It is
It's
very
quite unique.
and we're very thankful for everybody that's contributed to it.
Yeah.
You've gone out, you've done some interviews with some of the farming families. Some
We
of the,
have very
the older farming
prominent families, older farmers involved in various things, beef, dairy, 4-H, the Barlesses. There's so many great names. You'll have to come see who
And
we
I think
have.
the thing that most people will take away from this, or at least what I hope people will take away from this, is the fact that we hit on this a little bit, is the fact that agriculture, family farms are in a decline now. But it really, what I think this project shows the community and what we want to really bring to light is the fact that this is the fabric of our community. If without this fabric, without this foundation that we have, you really don't have farming, and it's a way of life that's kind of going by the wayside, and it's unfortunate. So it's trying to get back that local, where does your food come from, farm to table, and it's just really super important, because a lot of people, they don't really realize where their food is coming from and what it takes to put in, your Triscuits or your
Right.
cornflakes. What actually goes into the process of making that food for your table, and where does it come from? So it's really important that we bring that out, and I think this is a fantastic venue to bring these projects or these things
It's
to life.
thanks to Nathan for his willingness to really, and you too,
Right.
to work on expanding programming, and JPAC has just become a great place for everyone. There's something for everybody there, and
Right. So we encourage you to come out. If you want tickets, all you have to do is call the JPAC box office at 608-758-0297, and we'll put that up on the screen. And Tales of Our Farms will be coming to you in late January of 2020. So get your tickets. Tickets are available now. It'll be a fantastic event for everybody to come and take a look at.
Watch for some good promos coming out soon,
Right.
too.
Thanks.